All right, so thank you so much, Simon, for creating this summit, and thank you for having me. It really is an honor, and this has actually given me something to look forward to during this whole pandemic. It's been a challenge for everybody to wake up and have something to look forward to, so thank you for giving me something to wake up for today. So hope. I want to explain first what hope means to me. Hope, I look at it as a life preserver, and without it, I have nothing to hold on to. Hope has been my saving grace. It's been my lifeline, and without hope, I wouldn't be here today. And I believe that our most meaningful adventures actually take place in the face of hopelessness. And I believe that sometimes we don't find our inner strength until we're faced with hopelessness. So I'd like to share a story about a time that I was hopeless. It wasn't that long ago. It was in October of 2019. I was wanting to end my life, and I believed that the only way to happiness was my funeral. I believed the only way to find peace was to, in fact, rest in peace. And I believed the only way out of my misery was death. I did not see a solution beyond death. And when you're in that mentality, you truly believe that nothing will ever be good enough and nothing will be the same. And you believe that life will never be different than what you've been shown. So I remember a night where I was fantasizing about how I was going to do that, how I was going to end my life. And I obviously did not go through with it because I had a fighting spirit within me. I think we all have that fighting spirit that comes out when we least expect it. And sometimes it's triggered by the craziest situations. That moment I didn't do it was the moment I saved my authentic self. That was the moment I preserved the real me. And that was the moment I had something inside my core that gave me the ability to keep fighting. So what I did was my fighting spirit gave me the courage to go to treatment, and I came out of it with another diagnosis that I did not know was undiagnosed for 31 years. It was actually bipolar disorder. And now that I know what I have, I'm able to manage my life a lot easier. So my goal was, I'm a firm believer in turning your pain into a purpose, because I want to believe that my pain was worth something. I don't just want to endure pain, I want to carry on that pain. So I'm writing a book called Live to Tell, which is a book of truth and hope for living again. And that will come out in May. So that was one of my goals. And I want to give you 3 tips today on how you can live again. And one of them is, don't be a prisoner to your mind. And what do I mean by that? Well, when we're in a dark place of despair, sometimes we feel that that feeling is never going to go away or get better. And we become trapped by that prison mentality of believing there's no end to the challenges that we face or will face. So to be in that prison mentality basically means you're handcuffed to an idea, to a way of thinking, to a habit, to an addiction, to a mental illness, to an old relationship. So it's basically like a villain telling you that you cannot win. I will beat you. And that villain is going to come at you like never before. And that's where that fighting spirit comes into play. So you have to think about, what are you handcuffed to that is keeping you a prisoner to your mind? And remember, unlike a prisoner, you've had the key all along. You have the power to unleash those handcuffs. You just need to learn how to utilize them. And the second thing, feelings do not define our destiny. And I think that's very hard for us as humans, because we believe what we feel in the moment. If we think it, it must be true. And we react to those feelings so often. But it's important to know that feelings are like products. They're subject to change. And change is something inevitable in this world. We can always rely on change. So remember, don't make a decision based off of a temporary situation. And the last thing is, hopelessness is just a visitor. Now, I like to look at that as, you know, that uninvited guest that comes into the house and you can't get rid of them, or that person that calls and they don't even ask if you're free to chat. They just go right into the conversation. That's how I see hopelessness as. Even though they arrive, they do end up leaving, okay? So I want everyone to know that hope isn't something that we can just wake up and have. It's not something we can just implement every day. It's not like an instinct where you wake up and or you eat and you sleep. You have to implement it every single day. It's a daily practice. And the first thing that you can start doing is based on what you tell yourselves. If you tell yourselves, my life will never get better, or things will never be enough, change that to, I hope things will get better. I hope it will be enough. Because even though that sounds super simple, it's all about perspective. Life is all about perspective. So what does it mean to live again? Well, what it means to live again, I like to look at it as a deck of cards. You know, think about playing a card game. In order to win, you need to have strategy. You need to be able to read the other player. You need to be able to anticipate situations. And that's exactly what living means, is living, what's the strategy for living beyond the pain we are in? Okay? To live again means to let go of the past. To live again means to have something to look forward to. To live again is to save oneself. And most importantly, to live again is to live a life your soul is meant to live. So I'm going to turn it around on you guys. I'm going to ask you, how are you going to spark hope today? How are you going to instill hope every single day moving forward? Thank you.